Over a quarter of engaged FPL managers are on Wildcard in the international break, and nearly 14% are on free hit too. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and you're looking forward to a little bit of time off. We've gone very big, very hard pre-season and the first 3 game weeks. So for many managers, it'll be a bit of downtime. For others, they'll be planning a wildcard, a free hit, and as always, we'll be scouting during the international break. But look, Wildcard has absolutely gained momentum in the last few days because there's a lot of red arrows in Game Week 3. There's the closing of the transfer window and new shiny toys to bring into our teams. And there's a little bit of downtime where people just get twitchy. And I think Wildcard for that reason, and many others, is it's going to be very, very popular. Now, I polled it on Twitter. We just saw the graphic there. 27% of engaged FPL managers, this is from nearly 1,000 votes, are on Wildcard. This is the FPL Twitter audience. 14% on free hit, 56% on no chip at all, and a few on bench boost and triple captain. So we're going to show you a Wildcard team. We're going to show you a free hit team. And I'm also just going to show you a bit of I'll show you the fixture ticket, and I'm going to focus on Defcon as well. Defcon's really important when we're putting together our wildcard team. I think it's changed the way we've got to pick our players. So guys, without further ado, should we show you the free hit team? No, let's do wildcard first. Let's show you a wildcard team. And first of all, when I do this, I always like to show my actual team because this is an exercise we should all do. Put your actual team up and then go, how many changes would I make? And then not just based on the number of changes, but are they drastic enough changes to pull the trigger? I'd be making 8 changes, but they're not drastic, and I've got 2 free transfers. It's not for me. I'm going to go on record and just say I will not be free hitting or wildcarding. That's not to say you shouldn't be. This is all about playing your own game, guys. You've got to play your own game, and the chips for the first half of the season, there's no optimal strategy. This is about what works for your team. Second half of the season, because of the doubles and the blanks, there'll be optimal strategies. First half of the season, you've just got to back your instincts and go with the decisions that work for your team. Think for yourself, guys. So this is my actual team. Let's see who would leave it if we were to wildcard. So double Forest defence, see you later. Not a clean sheet yet. Disappointing, Murillo and Williams. I get rid of Pedro Porro at 5.5. I think he's expensive. Not necessarily nailed now with Jed Spence playing so well and Udogie now back fit. We saw Porro get the early sub. Esteve, I think there's better 4 million options at the back. I'll be getting rid of Cunha. Don't think we need to talk about him. I captained him last game week. Wirtz would be going, but I think he's a fine hold. And Ollie Watkins too. He'd be gone after 3 blanks. Mark Guiu is coming back to Chelsea. You wouldn't want to waste a Chelsea spot on him, I don't think. Depending on their injuries, and Jackson, maybe Guiu could be one. But at the moment, I'd be getting rid of him. So look, there's a lot of changes here and a lot of players that need to come into the team. Let's go through it one by one. The goalkeepers, Sanchez and Dubravka, very, very happy with. I think Sanchez is only a Lucas Paqueta worldie away from having 3 clean sheets this season, and Dubravka is the only goalkeeper that's starting at 4 million, right? So they are both absolutely locked in. Now, before we get to defenders, I want to show you a Defcon chart by one of my favourite new follows on X. FPL Tom Hadley is brilliant for Defcon. He's a friend of the channel. He made his YouTube debut on this channel a couple of years ago when he was in the world top 5. I think he was world number 1 actually. But he's been tracking some of the Defcon points, and he's not only looked at the best Defcon defenders, but he's looked at the best Defcon opponents to face. This is really interesting. This is one to screen grab, guys. There's a couple of Defcon defenders that make it into this wild card. Now, Van Dijk has only hit it in 2 of his 3 games, but his average clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles, CBIT is higher than any other player in the game. He gets the clean sheets, he gets the bonus, he's got goal threat, and he's great for Defcon. Senesi, 100% hit rate. And then Lacroix, again, he's had it in 2 of his 3. FPL made a little bit of an error. He didn't get it in the 3rd game. We saw Munoz get it against Aston Villa. We didn't see Lacroix get it, but he did actually hit 10. Opta added a 10th defensive contribution 20 minutes after the game, but FPL had closed it, and after the last game, it's meant to be changes up to an hour, but there wasn't, and Lacroix and his owners will feel very hard done by because he should be at 100%. He did actually hit Defcon, he just wasn't given the points. So anyway, long and short of this is Van Dijk, Senesi and Lacroix, because they're great for Defcon, but also I like their price points, I like their fixtures, I like their goal threat, they're going to be in the wildcard team. Worth noting on the other side, best opponents, this is really cool just to look at, because maybe this will be a thing. Aston Villa, when you play against them, your centre-backs have got a very good chance of Defcon. It's always the centre-backs against various teams. Obviously, centre-backs against Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, you would expect them to be busy. What's interesting, the right-back versus Aston Villa has had Defcon twice. and an average CBIT of 9. You only need 10, remember, to get it. Now, interestingly enough, the guy that's playing on the left for Aston Villa in the Sunday game was Morgan Rogers, and Daniel Munoz got Defcon. It's because a lot of the players going towards Morgan Rogers, therefore the right back's busy. So, interesting graphic to see. Let's put them in my team. So, we're going to put Van Dijk in, we're going to put Lacroix in, and we're going to put Senesi in. So those three are in alongside Daniel Munoz. Let's go through them one by one, though, and start with Munoz. I started the season with him, a 5, a 5, a 9. I'm so happy. People said you can't pick Munoz because Palace have got tough fixtures. He's just had a 5, a 5, and a 9. The fixtures get better now. Sunderland as an entry point, he's a lock. He's the easiest buy in FPL right now for your actual teams, guys, wildcard or not. Lacroix is going to get close to Munoz because he's so good at Defcon. He's got goal threat. Even with no Mark Gahey, I expect Lacroix to be very solid and Palace to be solid. They are 14 games unbeaten in all competitions, Crystal Palace. Again, the fixtures are there. Van Dijk is the only 6 million premium defender that actually gets some Defcon. All the other 6 million defenders, they're not busy enough to get Defcon, right? Van Dijk also has goal threat. And then Senesi, I think, is the best of the 4.5s. There's Anderson at 4.5. There's Trevor Chalobah at 4.5. Like, there's cheap 4.5 options, but I think Senesi and Bournemouth have been so good this season. And then Goodmanson, I think, is the best of the 4 million lot. He is currently like orange flagged or yellow flagged. I think he'll be fine. If not, you could go Joe Rodon. I think Leeds defensively look the best newly promoted team, so I'd go for a Leeds defender over a Sunderland or Burnley. So Goodmanson offers you bonus point and attacking upside as well. We've seen him get some of those extra points. Okay, let's have a look then at the fixture ticker, because when we're making all of our decisions, we do have to look at the fixture ticker. It's a shame. I filtered this by attacking difficulty for the next 5 game weeks, which is often what we look at on Wildcard. Wolves are top, Villa are top, Leeds are top, Spurs, like, I'm not really picking players from these top teams, despite the good fixtures, because form is also very important. This is from Fantasy Football Scouting. There's a link in the description if you want to check them out. Bournemouth, though, pretty damn high. Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Crystal Palace. As we come away from that ticker, I think we got to put Semenyo in the team. The main man at Bournemouth, always high and wide on the left-hand side. He is the big chance hog in this team. He should have scored in Game Week 2. He should have scored in Game Week 3. He did score a couple in Game Week 1. He's had the price rises. He's getting the chances. His team are efficient. I can't speak highly enough of Semenyo as an FPL asset. He's on 90 minutes. He could even be taking penalties. When Kluivert's not in the 11, and it looks like he might not be, Semenyo or Evan Nilsson will be a coin toss who gets them. But I think it could be Semenyo, who scored his pen last year. Evan Nilsson missed his. So Semenyo, for me, would be an easy decision on Wildcard. And Mo Salah alongside him, it's been disappointing for Salah owners. I just think with Ekitike coming in, with the Isak coming in, we could see Ekitike, Gakpo sharing minutes. We could see Wirtz losing a few. I just think Salah's the only one we know is going to play every minute. And I know you've got to spend extra, and I know he's been disappointing, but I wouldn't be getting rid of Salah on Wildcard. And I think in this Wildcard team, you're going to see what I'm doing with it. You can have Salah and the other big gun out there. So Salah, Semenyo, and then Sarr comes in. Like Ismaila Sarr, Crystal Palace have the fixtures. Sunderland is a great entry point. Sarr loves a goal. Yes, he's going to AFCON, but we get 5 transfers during AFCON anyway. Easy pick here. Easy pick Ismaila Sarr. He's cheap. Now, if you go in Sarr and you go in Lacroix and Munoz, you can't get to Mateta. So it's a balancing act. Do you want Mateta and one defender? Do you want Mateta and no Sarr? I just think Sarr at 6.5 is such good value. And then Reinders stays in, despite him not being great Game Week 2 or 3, but City haven't been. Long term, he's going to be a good pick. And then Dewsbury Hall, the best of the 5 millions. So whilst I'm chasing Defcon with defenders, I haven't gone for a Defcon midfielder. You could go for an Elliot Anderson or a Tyler Adams. They're good, but I just think the upside that Reinders and Dewsbury Hall offer you, I think they'll get enough goals and assists to be worth it, to not chase the Defcon. And you never know, there will be games in which they do pick up a cheeky Defcon. So look, the defence is set, the midfield is set, the forward line is spicy, and in a minute I'm going to show you a free hit team as well. But before we do that, guys, shout out to OneFootball. If you're not already on OneFootball, then they are sponsoring this show, and they have sponsored the channel for a while. You'll see their logos all around my channel, and I genuinely think they are the best football app out there. Like, they're great for tracking FPL stuff. Like, Game Week 1, I want to see who scored the goals for City. Oh, great, Reinders has got got the points. Brilliant. Oh, 8 Nori, I don't have him, but I nearly picked him. What's his Defcon like? I can go on, I can see his tackles, interceptions, blocks. It's really useful for that stuff, but really all the press conference news, just football headlines, transfers, Champions League, highlights of Premier League games. I can't speak highly enough of the app. It's free. There's a QR code on screen. Get on it, guys. Get on it. It's free. There's a link in the description, QR code. Scan away. Frontline. This is a Salah and Haaland draft. Am I bonkers, or would you be going Salah and Haaland on Wildcard? Let me know in the comments. I think for my actual team I might be doing this, and on Wildcard I definitely would. So many managers have got money floating around, and Haaland and Salah drafts look very possible, but there will be a time where you want Saka and Palmer back in, or will there? João Pedro can cover Palmer. Arsenal's fixtures are bad. Do you need Saka? He's still out injured anyway. I think it's a no-brainer. I'd be going Salah and Haaland. And look, when you look at the midfield, it doesn't feel like too much of a compromise. Like, you've got, yes, a couple of 5 millions, but you'll always have one of them on the bench because you'll often play a back four. Look at that back four. You'll often start them all. So I don't think it's too much of a compromise. You could argue if there's a bit of a bandwagon for an 8-9 million asset or even a 10 million asset like a Saka or a Palmer or just below that a Bruno, it'd be hard to jump onto them. We don't have that price point covered. But you can't have them all. There's got to be some compromise. So Haaland and João Pedro. Like, Haaland for captaincy, because you won't always want to captain Salah, especially at the moment. Gameweek 6, Haaland has Burnley, for example, and João Pedro is just undroppable, right? No one's going to think about going with that. In fact, if you don't own João Pedro, go buy him. And then you got 5 million to spend, just over. I think 5.2, 5.3, depending on team value. At Leeds, you can get an Umecha who is starting games. He's going to be third sub. I like this team. I like this team very much. I want to get towards this team with my actual team, and with my 2 free transfers, I'll be bringing in Haaland probably and get quite close to this wildcard team. My defence would need work. But I'm fairly happy with this. And I'm pretty set that if you're on wildcard, this is the sort of structure you go for. You go for a back four, and then you can go for 2 5 million mids and a third forward that's just bench fodder. Effectively, your 6th, 7th and 8th attacker can all be below 5.5 million. Reinders downwards, 5.6, 5.7, whatever. Because you'll often be playing a back four. So from those 3 attackers, only one of them will often be in your 11. Reinders one week, Dewsbury Hall the next. That's fine. There might be the occasional week where a Sarr is on the bench or a Semenyo. Like, unlikely, but it could happen. The back four allows you to do that. The compromise, of course, of having Haaland and Salah is that mid to upper price point of jumping on a Bruno bandwagon. You can't do it. That's fine. You can't have it all. So that's the wildcard team. Shall we have a look at a free hit team? Because I think the free hit team is pretty spicy as well. Guys, thank you for hitting the like button, and really thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I'm sure as many of you are watching, we're around that 34k mark. So I've done daily videos since the game launched, and I can't thank you enough for watching all this content. I need a little bit of a chill time. So you probably won't see a video on this channel for maybe even up to a week. Who knows? I might treat myself. But I have genuinely enjoyed it. So thank you for watching and commenting as you do. Let's have a look at the free hit team, because I've put together what I think is a pretty good looking free hit team. Do I love free hit this week? It depends on your team. You might have loads of players with rough fixtures. You might not have Salah in your team and go for free hit, I can get him versus Burnley. So I'm absolutely fine this week with those that need to free hit. Let's put the team together and just show you it and talk through a couple of the headlines. We'll start at the back. And this is just about chasing certain fixtures. So who are the teams I want to target? Well, Crystal Palace versus Sunderland. You're about to see 3 Crystal Palace players. Liverpool versus Burnley. You're going to see double. You could probably find a way of getting 3 in. Who else do I like? Well, Fulham have got a good fixture at Leeds at Craven Cottage. I'll probably go 2 Fulham. Arsenal versus Forest. Haaland versus City. Like, there's a few good ones. But the big ones are Liverpool and Crystal Palace. But let's start with Leno in goal. I fancy Fulham for a clean sheet. Leeds have looked proper shot shy. Like, they're just not creating Leeds. They're struggling to create XG, and I quite like Fulham at home. And I think after that Chelsea defeat, Leeds will struggle at Fulham. So Leno in goal. Daniel Munoz is my first Crystal Palace pick alongside Virgil van Dijk and Timber. I'd go for an Arsenal defender versus Forest. I'd just fancy Arsenal. Like, doesn't matter who they play. They went to Anfield and nearly kept a clean sheet. In fact, they've had 2 clean sheets from 3, and I do wonder why we didn't all pick Arsenal defenders, because other than a Szoboszlai Weldy, there'd be 3 clean sheets from 3, and there are not in many FPL teams, certainly not engaged managers. Ismaila Sarr, the Crystal Palace player in midfield. And then alongside Harvey Barnes versus Wolves, I quite like that differential shout. Barnes will be high and wide. He'll be in the starting 11 this time out. Mo Salah versus Burnley. And then I need money. Because I've gone Haaland and Salah, and I've got a fair few other premiums in there at the back, I've gone for Josh King of Fulham. He's not a 90-minute man, but he should start against Leeds, and he deserves a goal after what he did at Stamford Bridge with the disallowed goal. I fancy Josh King in this fixture. So the midfield looks great. Sarr, Barnes, King, all really high up the pitch. And Mo Salah. These are all wide forwards or really attacking mids in Josh King's case. And then the front line has Erling Haaland in a team with Salah without compromise, but I've still got money. This is the benefit of having like a 4.5 King in my 11. I can get João Pedro against Brentford. It might not be the best fixture on paper going to Brentford. They beat Aston Villa 3-0 at Brentford at the Community Stadium. Maybe they'll be quite good at home this season, who knows, but João Pedro is on another level at the moment. And then Mateta versus Sunderland. This would be an awesome looking free hit team. You could argue it needs another Liverpool, but money's an issue if you're going Haaland and Salah getting another Liverpool player in. I've gone for the price band of like 6.5 million Barnes, 6.5 Sarr, King at 4.5, Mateta at 7.5. You could go Lacroix instead of Mateta and then squeeze in an extra Liverpool player. That's very possible. The bench is complete bargain basement, but you hopefully wouldn't need your bench. So that's my free hit team. We've done my wildcard team. Let me know what you're doing. Reminder, there are lots of people on chips this week, and there's nothing wrong with that. Use your chips in the first half of the season guilt-free to suit your team. You don't have to follow your favourite content creator and their chip strategy. You do that in the second half of the season when there's blanks and doubles and there's optimal strategies. First half of the season, it's about backing your instincts, going with the upside based on your 11 or your 15 or your transfer plans or your team value or your transfers in the bank. If you want a wild card this week or free hit and it works for you, absolutely pull the trigger. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.